I had this notion one day that gratitude is a catalyst, kindness is a catalyst. And I had this notion, so I started studying it. The beautiful thing about a catalyst is an element that causes other elements to grow bigger or faster, right? To expand. The best part is a catalyst is not consumed in the process. So when you invite gratitude into your life, it's a catalyst for all of these other good things. And yet gratitude is, you don't lose gratitude in the process, you get more gratitude. When you invite kindness into your life, these other things start showing up because they have this catalytic effect.
Welcome to the Kindness Factor podcast, sharing life-changing personal stories of the transformational impact of deep kindness. Hosted by
Dr. Elia, the happiness doctor.
And Randy McNeely, Captain Kindman. Good morning, my friends. Welcome to another episode of the Kindness Factor podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Randy McNeely, Captain Kindman. On this podcast, we share transformative stories of kindness because kindness delivers the love that reaches hearts and changes lives. And we really appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. And just as a quick reminder, it's a big help for us to be able to get great guests and expand our kindness reach across the globe. If you'll take the time to like and subscribe to this channel if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, if you'll take just a minute to stop by and leave us a review or even give us love through some stars. Thank you so much again for joining us today, and we look forward to introducing you to our next amazing guest. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome to another episode of the Kindness Factor podcast. I'm Randy McNeely, your co-host, Captain Kindman, joined by my other wonderful co-host, Dr. Gourgouris, the happiness doctor. As you can tell by looking at that smiling face, he is the happiness doctor. And we are blessed today to have the king guru of gratitude, here with us in the house, Kevin Monroe. He's a tremendous advocate for inspiring gratitude, using gratitude, sharing gratitude, giving gratitude. How many other ways can I use the word gratitude to describe you, Kevin?
Growing gratitude. I don't know if you use that one. Let's use that one.
Growing gratitude. Well, rather than me spending a lot of time talking about who Kevin Monroe, I should say, let me say that name right, Kevin Monroe is. We're going to turn the time over to Kevin for just a minute and let him tell a little bit about himself and let you hear it directly from him, because he'll do a much better job than we can do.
Well, thank you, Randy. Thank you, Elia. Thank you who are joining us to watch or listen now. I'm delighted to be on the Kindness Factor podcast. I love the work these guys do of spreading kindness in the world. One of the things I guess we'll talk about is my work in gratitude. Gratitude and kindness go hand in hand. Wherever you find one, you find the other. There's no need in trying to decide which shows up first. When one of them shows up, the other's close behind. So I'm a guy who, gosh, it was actually 7 years ago, 2018, when my life began to be transformed by the power of gratitude. It all started on a dark morning, and I mean dark in the figurative sense. I usually wake up early in the morning without an alarm clock. That morning, I was struggling to get out of bed. I saw the clock several times, but I was on the verge of despair. And I finally rolled out of bed about 3 hours later. Found my way into my office, sat down with my journal, and cried out for help. And I didn't know it immediately, but gratitude became part of that answer. We landed on launching a 13-week journey that we called the Extraordinary Experiment for people who want to live an ordinary life, an extraordinary life, but you feel you're an ordinary person. How do you do that? Well, we had 13 weeks of challenges. Kindness was one of those, but week 6 was gratitude. And on week 6, when we did gratitude, it was the first time that I started asking, what's the difference between gratitude and Thanksgiving? Well, that just set me on a quest that's now 7 years later. So fast forward to June of 2019, I had this idea, and this is when it really caught momentum. I thought, what if we hosted a gratitude challenge? And we landed on hosting a 10-day gratitude challenge. I thought we'd do it once, maybe twice. We did it 22 times. This started before COVID. It lasted into COVID. And we had 2,800 people join us from 73 countries of the world. And Randy, Elia, in that time, I became known as the gratitude guy. It wasn't anything I ever set out to be, but gratitude changed my life. And now I'm on a quest to help it change as many people's lives as possible.
I love the fact that you tied kindness and gratitude together. I had never thought about it that way, but it's so true. You can't have one without the other. I used to say that about kindness and happiness. You can't have one without the other.
Exactly.
Let's add a gratitude to this. We have the happiness guy, we have the kindness guy, now we got the gratitude guy. We got it all, baby. That's it.
Yeah,
Peas in a
absolutely.
pod, man.
So the way I think of it, okay, have you ever been to the circus and seen that little car show up and more clowns pile out of that car than can physically fit in the car? Well, I think of that as gratitude, kindness, happiness. That car, all of those things travel together, and they bring a lot of buddies with them, right? So there's joy, there's abundance, there's calm, there's compassion, there's kindness, there's happiness, there's gratitude, and there is no need to try to argue which comes first. If one of them's there, the others are showing up soon. And that's just what I love. I love the connection between gratitude, joy, happiness, kindness, abundance, grace, right? They're all traveling companions.
I love that. I can visualize that. Have a train full of traveling companions and like, may I have your ticket, sir? Yes, this is my gratitude ticket. How about you, sir? This is my kindness ticket. I can actually visualize this is my abundance ticket or my, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. And it's spread around the world.
Isn't it? I mean, it's just amazing. So the other thing I think about when I started thinking about this, and I had to go back and study chemistry because I wasn't good at chemistry in high school. But a catalyst. I had this notion one day that gratitude is a catalyst, kindness is a catalyst. And I had this notion, so I started studying it. The beautiful thing about a catalyst is an element that causes other elements to grow bigger or faster, right? To expand. The best part is a catalyst is not consumed in the process. So when you invite gratitude into your life, it's a catalyst for all of these other good things. And yet gratitude is, you don't lose gratitude in the process. You get more gratitude. When you invite kindness into your life, these other things start showing up because they have this catalytic effect.
I love the idea. It's just came into my head, and it's based on what you've been saying, is when kindness or gratitude show up, their friends come with them. And who are their friends? Their friends are happiness. Their friends are hope. Their friends are joy. Their friends are inspiration. Their friends are all these things. If you show up in kindness, you're bringing all kindness's friends. If you show up in gratitude, you're bringing all of gratitude's friends. If you show up with happiness, you're bringing happiness friends with you.
None of these exist in isolation, right? They don't.
They don't. Well, here's the thing, okay? In this day and age when there's an epidemic of loneliness and isolation of people, none of these things shows up in isolation. And think of how we can impact lives and help people to overcome their loneliness and isolation if we show up with this whole crowd of friends, kindness, love, and gratitude. Think about how we can make a difference that way. That's powerful.
Kevin, I have a question for you, and I want to hear your take on this. When things are going well in life, being grateful, it's the easiest thing in the world. We could probably write on a gratitude journal every day and never repeat ourselves for a full year when everything is going well. But my question to you is, what happens to gratitude when we're facing challenges, and how can we be grateful in the midst of challenges? Or can we?
Aaliyah, unfortunately, this is a topic that I wish I could say I know nothing about, right? That I've never experienced this. But the story of my life is I found gratitude in one of those dark moments. The story of my life is I've had a lot of those moments where struggles and challenges come up that are very real. And so I'm going to share something really recent. As a matter of fact, it was the topic of a newsletter I wrote today on LinkedIn. And this happened about Well, over the course of 2025, I've been noticing, we've all been noticing, right? It's a tough time in the world. There's just so much toxicity unleashed in the world, and so many people that were already alienated and isolated are feeling even lonelier. They're fearful, they're scared. Um, so I've been noticing this and thinking, how do we address this? And so there were these thoughts stirring. And then 2 weeks ago this week, on Thursday, February 27th, I was out running an errand, and out of the blue, somebody turns in front of me, and an accident is absolutely unavoidable. I mean, within just a few feet, they're turning. I'm like, I can't. She didn't see me. I couldn't miss her. I clip her car, have this accident, careen over a curb, back onto the highway. I get out, going to check on this lady, and she was distraught, but she was okay. Nobody's taken to the hospital. Nobody's yelling and screaming at each other. We're being very civil about this accident. And as we're waiting for the police to arrive, I just happened, probably because Brother David, with his Grateful Day meditation that I listen to once a week, says, look up, look up. We don't spend enough time looking up. I looked up at the sky. It was a beautiful day. And these words hit me just, and yet. And yet. So life is hard. Bad things are happening. I was already having a bad day with some other things going on. Then I have a car wreck, right? And I was frustrated. I'm not saying I wasn't frustrated, but I didn't get angry. And all of a sudden, I just look up and I go, oh, and yet. So that bad things happening, and yet there's still something good to be found. There's something good to enjoy. And for me, right, toxic positivity ignores that bad things happen in life. Toxic positivity just tells you to stuff it. Tells you, that you can just, I don't know.
Just be happy. That's it.
Yeah, be happy.
Happy all the time.
Come up with your mantras, and just ignore that. No. We see that stuff for what it is. And yet, even on our darkest days, there's still something good that happened in that day. There's still something good to be found, to be enjoyed. And nature is one of those consistent sources of the good that we can find. Go out, look up, look at the trees, look at the leaves, look at the flowers, look at listen to the birds. Any of those things can spark a reset. I hope that answered your question. If you want to go deeper, let's go.
No, I love that you say that, because I go on my daily walk. I do 3 miles a day. That's my micro habit.
That's your street.
And half the time I don't take my phone with me, and I call that and I've shared this in other podcasts too. I call that my gratitude walk. For a full hour, I walk around, and I just like what you said, I listen to the birds. I literally look up at the sky. I look at the trees. And when you're close to nature and you're going for a walk, yes, I'm getting my exercise, moderate exercise, not to become a triathlete or anything, but it's a gratitude walk that by the time that I come home, my batteries are so full, not just physically, but spiritually, emotionally, and mentally, because I have been bathing, in an hour of gratitude.
Hello, my wonderful friends. If you could step into the shoes of a kindness hero today, would you want to? I believe that most of you would, and here's an easy way to do that. Simply watch this little video clip by Kindness Worldwide, and if it resonates, stop by their website today, www.kindnessworldwide.org, and make a donation to support their wonderful mission to bring cultures of kindness to communities throughout the world. And then feel free to share it with your friends and family. Thank you for your support.
When a wallet was returned just moments after it was lost, a purpose was found. This one act of kindness inspired the formation of the nonprofit Kindness Worldwide to create a culture of kindness in communities throughout the world. Kindness Week Worldwide mobilized the entire community in York, Pennsylvania, featuring initiatives and playbook programs including blood drives, kindness cards, K-12 and college students embracing kindness, and an innovative means of community policing, kindness citations. If something so magical can happen in York, Pennsylvania, the same and other inspirations can happen anywhere and everywhere. Our Screen Scenes initiative featuring the Kindness Factor will showcase these many stories of kindness. Let's include your community among them. Kindness is the heartbeat of the world. Together, with your support, we can make all its hearts beat as one.
Well, so the word I love the word bathing. Another word two words I might use, infused or immersed, right? We've infused gratitude into your heart, your mind, your soul, your senses. I love the other thing you said there. And so many times when we're doing things, I invite people to make gratitude a full orbed sensory experience, right? What are
Yes.
the things you see? What are the things you smell? What are the things you can taste, touch, or hear? And find something in all of those dimensions that ignites or and sparks gratitude into your soul.
That's beautiful. I mean,
It is
you
beautiful.
stop and think about it. I mean, there's so many different things we could be grateful for. I am grateful that we have this technology that enables us to communicate clear across the country. Elia's in Colorado, I'm in Iowa, you're in Georgia. We've communicated with people, in Dubai and Australia, had interviews with people all over the place. And what amazing thing it is to be able to have the opportunity to share thoughts and receive insights and inspiration from people everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's just one simple way I can be grateful for this technology. If you're willing to look, like you said, you can find the and yet moments all over the place. I'm going through this stuff, and yet there's this I can be grateful for, and yet there's this I can be grateful for. It's a matter of deliberately looking.
I also feel, Kevin, and Randy too, that when we practice gratitude, isn't that the ultimate act of self-kindness?
Mm.
It really,
Okay, so you guys don't know. You guys don't know because this is just happening a few minutes before this. I was a guest on a podcast, well, the day after the accident. So this and yet was really fresh when I was on a show with Roger. The show aired this morning, released this morning, and we talked about an activity. And I'm actually doing this activity now. I haven't finished it yet. So I'm going to mention it because there was a gentleman that heard the episode, saw the activity, and Elia, that's what he said. What an act of self-compassion and
Yes,
self-kindness.
exactly.
What
That's
an
what.
act. So a few years ago we created these cards. I'm grateful for you.
Mhm.
Okay, the front just says 4 words. I'm grateful for you. Randy, you have these cards. The backs are
Yep.
blank.
Yep.
And to January of 2023, I was at an event, and something transformational happened in this event with a participant named Jackie in the room. And Randy, you've been at these gratitude encounters. I do them online, I do them in person. At the beginning of the event, we measure hope, the level of hope people are feeling, what it was in the preceding week, what it was in this moment. And then at the end of the event, we measure it again. And hope always grows. Elia, you mentioned hope a few minutes ago. Hope always grows. So this lady, Jackie, came up to me at the end of the session, and everybody in the room had just gotten cards. She wrote me a card, and she said, "In at a 1, out at a 6," right? And she wrote, and I probably have the card. Um, I got a bunch of them. Anyway, cancer, house fire, dementia, all of these things had taken a toll on her life in the last year.
Oh,
And her father had cancer. Her mother had dementia. Her mother walked out of a doctor's office at an appointment, was missing for 4 days, the week leading up to this encounter. A few months before, her mother had left something on the stove and it caused a fire in their family home that she grew up in. The home was lost. All of these things, right,
wow.
had taken a toll on her life. And she came up to me and she's just expressing gratitude. She says, "Hey, Kevin, can I give you a hug?" I said, "Of course." Right? And we just embraced a moment. And she goes, "Now I'm at a 7, maybe even an 8 of hope."
That's beautiful.
And then the next day, something came up. I was in a conversation. Randy, you know Vicky O'Grady Longo.
Oh yeah.
Elia, you
Yeah.
may know Vicky as well. Vicky and I were talking about this, and something came up. Oh, I need to write a card to myself. And I said, "I dare you to do it. As a matter of fact, I'll do it." So
That's
we did this.
I
This
dare you.
aired on this podcast, right? That aired just this morning. And a gentleman wrote, he goes, "Oh my gosh, this idea of expressing gratitude to myself. Right? So the exercise is step outside of yourself, look at yourself as a third party observer, right? And what are those things you find about yourself that you want to appreciate and celebrate? So I remember 2 years ago writing, I I appreciate the ease with which I connect with people like Jackie, and that it creates this kind of extraordinary encounter. But my friend Joseph talked about what an act of self-compassion this
That's
is,
it. That's
right?
it.
What when we express gratitude to ourselves, we are giving compassion,
And yet,
kindness.
not enough people do that, though. In reality, I think that's if there's a call to action from this particular interview with you, Kevin, is like gratitude is a wonderful thing. It leads to kindness. It definitely leads to happiness. I mean, that's part of my book. After self-care, gratitude is the second path to happiness. But it's the gratitude towards ourselves. It wouldn't hurt us, once in a while, or even more frequently, to actually, look in the mirror and make eye contact with the person looking back at you, who's been with you since the beginning, and express some gratitude. I think that's missing in action for
So
the most part.
okay, Aaliyah, I love that. I do that. I don't do it frequently enough, but
I
there are
know,
times that
but
I stop and I look at that guy in the mirror and I'm grateful for you. I appreciate this, right, about you. So, hey, what's one thing we can appreciate about ourselves right now? And since I'm springing this on you, I will go
it's easy.
first.
I can go first. That's
Okay,
easy.
go ahead.
I appreciate that God gave me such a great sense of humor because I make people ideas and make people laugh all the time. So I'm grateful for the sense of humor
That's
and the ability to
beautiful.
laugh at myself too. By the way, I don't take myself so seriously, so that helps with my
Well,
happiness.
Well,
I
I
mean, that
obviously,
really helps, right? Randy.
I can say I obviously don't take myself too seriously. I'm sitting here in a cape and a cap. I've got a Captain Kindman shirt on. But you know what? And one of the things I'm grateful for is that I have the courage to do that. But more importantly, is that I feel like God has given me a heart to care for people, and it's always been that way, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, I'll piggyback on that, but then I'll do something different, so I'm not just copying. When people talk about superpowers, when I really dig back, I think, or dig in deeper, I think my real superpower is genuinely caring for people, right? Really caring for people. It's not a surface thing. But I'll build on that and say one of the things I love, and I'll say this in two ways. I love the ability, God given ability, I have to connect with people quickly and deeply.
That's
And then I
beautiful.
also love the ability, and again, it is a God given ability. I mean, I work to improve the skills, but I can't do this on my own. I can't make this up. But I appreciate the ability to create and hold space for people to come in and feel love, to feel accepted, to feel welcomed, and to experience and express gratitude and kindness and happiness as a result.
Kevin, your energy and your passion for gratitude is infectious. It just through the screen. I know we're living in three different states, but I'm feeling it already.
Ages.
But our time is coming close to the end, my friend. We want to hear your three pearls of wisdom as it relates to kindness or gratitude, or things that you personally live by and you share with other people. What's your three nuggets?
I'm going to start with this one. I always say it about gratitude, but it applies equally to kindness and happiness. Gratitude, kindness, happiness are better experienced than explained. You don't have to understand how it works. You don't have to be able to explain it to someone. And for guys like us that help other people experience it, they don't need a lecture, right? Lecture about happiness or a lecture about kindness, a lecture about gratitude doesn't usually result in people being more happy, kind, or grateful. So gratitude experienced, happiness, kindness experienced is better than explained. Okay, the second one, uh, until you're expressing gratitude, kindness, happiness, you're not fully experiencing it either. right? So it's better experienced than explained, and it's not something that you just keep to yourself, right? You have to express it. And then, okay, I'll go the third one. The power is amazing of gratitude, of kindness and happiness. Uh, Research shows that three parties benefit. The person who expresses gratitude, the person who expresses kindness, and I don't know if there are studies on happiness. I have read studies about gratitude and kindness, so I'll
Yeah.
just limit it there. I'll let you weigh in. Uh, the person who expresses it benefits from those. The person who receives it benefits from gratitude and kindness, and anyone who happens to witness it. You may not even know they're witnessing your act of kindness in a grocery store, in a public place, but somebody witnesses an act of kindness or gratitude, it sparks something in them.
Well, Kevin, thank you for your passion. Thank you for your for your wisdom. It's so easy, actually, the way you just shared it. This isn't brain surgery, and being grateful on a daily basis towards others and ourselves. And the part of self-compassion. Kevin, what's the best way for our audience to follow you, get a hold of you, reach out to you? What's the best way?
If you're on LinkedIn, I'm Kevin Monroe. Find me on LinkedIn if you're there. I would love to connect. If you are connecting because of the kindness factor, let me know that. Number two, website, kevindmonroe.com. There is a D in the website, kevindmonroe.com. And then being inspired by one of my mentors, call or text me, 404 713 0713.
You're a good man. Thank you for being on the
Fantastic.
show. Appreciate you, man. That was great.
We want to thank our audience. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. We're so appreciative of your willingness to spend a few minutes out of your day with us. And we just want to remind you, take a few minutes at the end of the day today and think about what you've learned from this podcast, how it's applicable to you, and then make a plan, what you're going to do with it. How are you going to put what you've learned into action? I can promise you it'll make a difference for you and for the people that you serve. And remember, as you go throughout your day, throughout your week, throughout your life, with kindness, everybody wins.
Just for today, so I'm going to say with kindness and gratitude, everybody wins. Just like Kevin said.
Amen.
And everybody's happier.
That's right. There you go.
Thank
Let's
you so
go.
much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
My pleasure. Thank you.